Airline anger. An Ontario family furious after being kicked off a flight to BC. The reason behind their removal coming into question. Good evening. It was supposed to be a trip to visit family and friends for the holidays and a first flight for two little girls.
But the Newmarket family never made it off the ground. Now out $1,000 after one of their kids was ill moments after boarding a Swoop Airlines flight. CTV's Scott LIGHTFOOT is tracking this for us tonight. Scott.
Well, Zoraida, the family says it was simply a case of nerves that made one of their twins get sick before the flight took off. They say she was fine moments later, and she was never checked by any medical personnel before airline staff told them they would have to get off the plane.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Early in the morning on December 22nd, and the Gerard family is about to board a Swoop Airlines flight at the airport in Hamilton.
Never been on a plane before.
Bound for BC with their 3-year-old twins, one of whom was overcome with excitement.
Ellie was just like, "Mom, this is the best thing." And I turned around and Abby just went, "Boop," and that was it. And I was like, oh no. And there was a male flight attendant there. And I looked at him and I said, "Oh my gosh, like, do we have to leave?" And he looked at me as if I was crazy. He said, "Absolutely not. Like, this happens all the time."
But as it turns out, other flight attendants had a different opinion.
The flight attendant came back and said, "Sorry, we're gonna have to remove you guys from the flight. We're deemed that your daughter's too sick to fly." And we kind of went, okay.
The family say they were left alone on the tarmac to find their own way back to the terminal, where Swoop staff told them they couldn't help and they'd have to call an office in Calgary that wasn't open for several hours.
They said they could refund my daughter and my wife's ticket, and that was it. And we said, well, you guys removed all 4 of us from the flight. They said, well, me and the girl I was looking at, my other daughter, they said, you didn't have to get off the flight. And we said, well, that was never offered. You told us all to get off the flight.
Hours of back and forth, and the offer changed. Now a full refund on 4 tickets, but only, the family says, if they paid current price on new tickets the next day.
That actually doubled the cost of our entire trip.
After a tough year and facing a financial pinch, they decided not to go. And they say at that point, the refund offer changed again.
They came back and they said, we can only offer you now 1 ticket, a refund of 1 ticket. How does that work? Like, how did it go from 2 people to 4 people now down to 1? Like, what's going on?
When the Gerards shared their story on social media, they got another call from the airline on Christmas Eve, offering a partial refund, but leaving the family out about $1,000.
It is wrong first because I don't think the removal of the passengers was justified. It is wrong also because if they chose to remove the passengers for such medical issues, then Swoop was required by its own contract to refund the entire airfare to the passengers. That's the bare minimum they should have done.
In a statement, the airline would only tell CTV News Swoop has communicated directly with the family to address their concerns. A hastily thrown together holiday at home is how the Gerards spent their Christmas and New Year's, though they're still hopeful they'll get to BC sometime.
That's the goal now, is to wrangle some money and try to make that trip happen again. So
With another airline?
With another airline, yeah, not Swoop.
On top of the tickets, the family's also out the costs of deposits on accommodations they had booked in British Columbia. They say they're planning to save up in the hopes they can make that trip in the spring. Reporting live, I'm Scott LIGHTFOOT. Zoraida, back to you.
Thank you, Scott. And you can read more about this story on our website. Our multi-platform writer, Sean Davidson, has full details. It's on the website again, CTVNEWSTORONTO.CA.